Good morning, everyone. We are having another wonderful day here today. Welcome to another episode of Send It ATV podcast. I am your host, Shane Eastman, and I have an amazing guest today. He is out of New York, and it's beautiful trails, beautiful area by itself. You certainly want to look into going that direction and trying it out at least once in your lifetime. If you are an avid ATV, UTVer like we are, it's just a beautiful area to go to. And today, so I had the president of the Tug Hill Adirondack ATV Association, Mr. Greg Myers. How are you doing, sir?
Great. Thanks for having me on today.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you agreeing to meet with us today and just share about your club and what you guys have going on this season and what people should be aware of, to protect our trail systems.
Yeah, that's good. It's great to have the continued education out there.
Absolutely. So tell us about the Tug Hill Adirondack ATV Association.
Well, the organization was formed in 1999 by some previous, our past president who just stepped down and I took over for. They started out as a two-county, Jefferson County, Lewis County organization. But since the New York legislation, counties and stuff like that have made it very difficult for the ATVs to actively run in the state, we've taken on more of a club role than an association role. But we've kept the name because it's depending on how things go in the future, that we could take on that association and gather more clubs together and do an association role. So.
Okay.
We're really active as a club. We stay pretty active with the counties to keep things active, aware of problems. We help them out.
Okay, great. What are your goals for the upcoming season?
This season, I think we're looking for. We've been talking to different towns and municipalities about a sign program to try to help. Especially since the influx of new riders, there's been a problem with people riding where they're not supposed to be, or because they don't know. So we're trying to get some kind of a uniform sign program put together that everybody can agree on, and the lettering's the right way, the coloring's the right way, and that helps direct people where they should be, where they shouldn't be, along with helping the county again maintain the trails that we can with the chainsaws and weed whackers and brush hogs, stuff like that. The system's in pretty good shape though.
Great. What is the makeup of your general trail system?
Most of our trail system, I would say, somewhere between 65-70% of it is what's called seasonal roads, which is typically minimal maintenance dirt roads that are that have been throughout the mountains and the valleys that loggers have used over the years, or the towns have used and have never had a chance to, or never had the reason to improve them because there's just a few camps up there or something like that. And then most of them lead you to off-road trails, which the between county and private landowners have developed, along with the county reforestation. And we do have a little bit of trails in the Adirondack Park, which is the very northeastern edge of it, which is in a little town called Branningham. There's some sand pits and some other stuff in that area. So it's and then there's probably about, I'd say, between 8 and 10% of them are paved blacktop roads. And most of those are just connecting from trail to trail, the systems in different towns. We're able to talk to through legislation, get towns to be able to say, listen, can we open up this road for X amount of miles so we can get from this part to this part? And so far, it's been pretty good response.
Very good. Yeah, I don't know about for you guys. I just know that a lot of people that I've been speaking with already this season, a lot of systems, the connectors are on such a shoestring, just being held together barely because people just not knowing how to ride, where to ride, and just remembering that it's important it's about the image that they present. as they're going to and from and so forth. And, you know, it stinks to have to trailer up to go from one small system to another small system. It'd be nice to be able to ride one system and then ride over to the next system and ride it. And
yeah, that's definitely very agreeable. Sorry, my paper blew away here.
uh,
I think what people don't understand is that for every 10 riders that are out there, there's one person that would rather not see it at all and would do anything to get it closed down. So that's the image I think that we need to present to and educate people that are riding. So listen, there's for that whole group of you there's going to be one person out there that's going to be watching you or taking pictures or taking notes and saying, this group did this on this day. And they're gonna be put stuff in papers. They're gonna give us bad press for a single incident that is so isolated, but it's gonna be completely blown out of proportion because of the people that don't want it.
Right.
I think it's just very, very important for people just to realize that there's people out there watching, and they if you do the right thing, you most likely will be fine. But if you keep doing the wrong thing, things are gonna turn pretty quickly.
And it's amazing, like the little bit of, if you see some trash and you stop and pick it up, someone sees you doing that, just because, hey, this is a responsible thing to do. But, just like, hey, look, there's like, yeah, maybe they're a little inconvenient for us, but hey, they pick up trash as they're driving around. So, that's another small thing that people can do to help.
Yeah, my wife and I do that all the time. We always come back with half of a trash bag full of stuff and cans and bottles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's people that are blatantly littering. Sometimes it just falls out of units or whatever. And of course, there are the cases where it's not even ATVers that are creating the litter. It's like near bridge embankments, and for whatever reason, people go and drink there and they leave all their garbage behind.
Right.
But I did a cleanup recently myself, and got 3 trash bags of trash just because that was something we wanted to do. That was our goal for the day. But
yeah, we advocate that as a club as well too. We don't tell anybody going out riding, if you see something, just pick it up. It's the leave no trace part. It's just that it's extremely helpful, and people do see that.
Mm-hmm. And then like I don't know, do you guys have like mixed use trails up there as well? Like,
yeah, a good portion of the popularity of the Tug Hill area has been. If you talk to anybody, it's snowmobiling. We have 3,000 plus miles of snowmobile trails that go through state lands and through private property, through towns and counties. That's been a well-developed system. And then when springtime hits and then summertime hits, that 3,000 mile trail system turns down to about a little over 300 miles, because the New York State will not allow ATVs on state DEC state property.
Right.
That's just not something they're prepared to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
They figure they're too big of an impact on the environment, and
right.
we're continually trying to educate and trying to talk to the DEC about certain areas that we could possibly develop and maybe get their eye onto it and say, well, okay, this is working or this isn't working. Maybe we can help work out. But until that point, the ATV stuff shrinks quite a bit, but it's still pretty expansive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 300 miles. I mean, I can ride bike about 80, 90 miles on in a single day and never see the same spot.
Right. Well, that's pretty expansive. So very good. What's one of the best features in your riding area?
I gotta say, I've been to quite a few parks and different places that you can ride, and it's a lot of off-road riding like that. But I think the unique part of our area is that we're connected to so many towns, mm-hmm. and then there's probably 14 to 16 eating establishments that you can stop at that are directly on the trail system, and there's 4 hotels. Small, we've been ranging from a 65-room hotel to a small 8-room hotel, mm-hmm. And also 2 campgrounds that are all directly connected on a system. So gives you quite a bit of options that you can different riding abilities, different times. If you want to go to you can go out riding for an entire day and stop at 3 or 4 different restaurants and try different things.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's certainly, yeah, hospitality sometimes can be a shortcoming in different riding areas. I know.
Yeah, again, our place along with another place is the hotels are directly. I mean, you can unload your trailer right here, go to your room, come back out, get on your machine, and ride right up the trail from right from where you're staying.
That's great. That's great. Um, what's something else that fellow enthusiasts can do to help protect the sport?
I just education. The biggest thing is education. Just understanding that the ability to ride in systems like this is an extreme privilege.
Yeah.
That it's not something that's just that's just there. There's a lot of people that work behind the backgrounds just to make it possible. And it's there's obeying signs, anything that's signed areas that you're not supposed to ride, or it tells you to do something, just to obey that and not go look the other way and go, well, nobody's watching me, I can just go from this point to this point real quick. That, and I see a lot of new riders riding side by sides and without helmets, and I'm a huge advocate for helmets. I've seen too many head injuries that happen in side by sides that not wearing their seatbelts, and roll on your side, you can bang your head off the roll bar. So it's just necessary.
Can I share a quick story with you?
You go ahead.
I had a side by side Yamaha YXZ 1000. Thing's a rape tape.
Mm-hmm. I've been on one.
Yeah, and I was, I consider myself a pretty proficient rider. But I wore a helmet, goggles, and so forth, and a lot of my friends didn't. But I was going through a pit and just racing around the pit, having some fun. It was one of those pits where you could just kind of let loose a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gone through this one puddle in the middle of it. It was a clean puddle, and I was trying to wash off my unit. And I went through that puddle probably half dozen times. Well, I happened to go through it at a different angle, and I wasn't really paying attention at a very good clip, probably 60 plus miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit it just right, and it loaded up my suspension on one side and kicked me sideways, and I ended up I couldn't get back under it. And I made the mistake of letting the throttle off. If I let the throttle on, I might have been able to recover. But I ended up barrel rolling it and then flipping it end over end. And at one point they said that I was nose down, 6 feet in the air. All they saw was sky behind me. And then I landed down and whatever. And everybody's thought was like, when I landed, I was looking down back at everybody. They just happened to be watching me. A dozen people were just all sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, he's dead. And the roll cage literally was at a point like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Collapsed in like here, and my helmet hit right up against that. Well, if I wasn't wearing a helmet due to the location where we were at and the location of the injury, you and I would not be speaking right now.
Yeah, I mean, it can have. I've seen it happen. It can happen so fast, and just a simple turn, or I've seen it where somebody, there's a bunch of machines riding in the same area, and somebody's not paying attention. You have to make a corrective turn, and next thing you know, you're on your side, or it just takes a split second, and you don't think it'll ever happen to you, but why take the chance?
Yeah, exactly. Life is too precious, and and helmets are comfortable these days. I mean, they really are. If you buy a decent helmet, it's just a no-brainer. And
yep, I agree.
So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, because I had two beautiful girls, and I'd hate to miss watching them grow up.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, on the lighter note, what's one of the best and funniest stories you either witnessed yourself or you get extra points if it was you personally that makes you laugh today?
I was about 4 years ago. It was probably right around the middle of July, right around the summer solstice. It's 9 o'clock at night. It's beautiful. It's bright outside yet. So I said to my son at the time, he says, let's go just take a quick little ride. We're going to be on 15 minutes. So we just got done closing up the kitchen and the restaurant, and I said, let's just go for a quick ride. It's a beautiful day at night out. Where we went up the trail right behind the restaurant here, and we ended up going. I said, well, we got to get a little adventurous. Let's go on this side trail. We went around. So we switched sides. I let him drive, and I said, you know what? He's good at this. I got just a Razor 570, but he got going around. And I says, we had a lot of rain, but then we had a really, really long stretch of dry. So all the area that we were at, you can see how the mud crust up and looks all the pits and stuff like that. So I told him, just stay to the far right of that and don't go through this one part. Well, I don't think he quite heard me quite right. I thought he said cut through. And he ended up going in this mud hole, and we ended up to the point where the front left tire was buried up to the fender. We couldn't even get. I got the suicide doors too, and we couldn't even get the driver's door open. It was buried so deep. I'm thinking, no problem. I'll just pull the winch out. And wouldn't you believe that I was 5 feet short of a tree, and I did not. And I was even with my toe strap, I was 5 feet short. And I'm like, well, what do I do now? So we're trying to rock this thing out. I'm into my knees in mud. And finally, I had to make that. I looked at my phone. I had like one bar. I'm like, oh, I hope my buddy's at camp right now. So I called him real quick. I said, yeah, we'll be up. So we ended up, this 15-minute trip turned into like 3.5 hours by the time we waited trying to get out, try to wait for him to get there. And he goes, how do I find you? He says, look for the lights. It'll be the only lights you can see in this whole area. And, but after we got back, I probably had about 3 inches of mud on top. So between trying to rock this thing out of the hole and everything else. And I got home. My wife turns to me and says, you guys are not coming in the house looking like that.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, 15 minutes. That's like saying, oh, let me do this quick project. Yeah, right.
Exactly. 15-minute ride turned to 3.5 hours.
Yeah, well, that's quite a story. Now, how long have you been part of the club?
I've been a part of this club for just about 5 years.
Okay.
I just recently taken over as president within the past 3 months because our current president, he said, with some things he's got going with his family and grandkids and everything else, he's getting close. He's getting close to 70, so he's like, just time for me to just pass the reins on. And, he's still heavily involved in the club. We just just take a little step back from being in charge of things.
Right. Yeah, and we really need to, there's a lot of club presidents that are just getting up there, and we need a lot of new blood in the clubs. Get people involved. And
I found that in a lot of things. Between any kind of volunteer organizations, it's hard to find new members. It's hard to find people that have the time to dedicate, and it's just you got to find that, even if it's a handful of people, just to keep things going.
Right. What's one of the best places you've ever ridden?
Unfortunately, I don't get a chance to get out that much because I run the businesses and everything else. I got to say our trail system is great. Hopefully with the next couple of years, I will be adventuring out a little bit. Being with the president of the club, we have the trailer, so we can take equipment with us. We can go to different areas and advocate for our areas, as well as drive to other areas. We have educational tools that we keep in there. We have a TV monitor and video and apparel, stuff like that we utilize at events that we have within our own system. Mm-hmm. Just to try to help people just understand a little bit more.
Yeah, great. Well, you're certainly welcome to come to New England at any time and get over here to New Hampshire. The Northern Trail system is pretty fantastic, and even some of the trails in Maine are just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, one of our neighboring clubs just announced that they're going to do a trip to Maine, I think sometime in August.
Oh, okay.
So if it happens to be where I can find the time, that I might as well just join them.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully it's in northern mid-state to northern Maine. That's where the trails are really just phenomenal.
Yeah. Yep. I've been to New Hampshire once, but I was just a little further south in the Lake Winnipesaukee area, and they didn't have much trail riding down that way.
No, not in that area. No, but northwest and north is just a mecca.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Hmm. So, what is the what's one of the best ways for people to get a hold of your club, and if they want to get more information and get involved, what would be a good way for them to get in contact with you?
There's we have a website. It's THAAA. I'm sorry, that's my email address. I'm sorry. It's Tug Hill Adirondack ATV Association. You can Google it, or
Okay.
it's Tug Hill Adirondacks ATV.com is our website.
Okay.
And then we also have a Facebook page. If you look up, Tug Hill Adirondack ATV Association on Facebook, we also have a Facebook page. You can contact us through Messenger, or if you have any questions, there's an email contacts on the webpage as well.
Okay. Well, very good. I'll be sure to put all the links in the description down below, so anybody watching this can be sure to just easily click on the link and go straight to your club information and get hopefully get involved and maybe get some more education on how they can protect the trail systems.
Yep, that's extremely important.
Yep. Well, Greg, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you spending your very precious, because I know you're very busy. But thanks for helping us with education and everything that you do and going from there. So
Great, thanks for having me on.